Facebook, LinkedIn. This is what we do. We get better. This is what
We do.
This
We
is
get
why I
better
love
every
tech.
week. I freaking love this. This looks super cool.
I do too.
Like we're
Alright.
in the website.
We're on YouTube.
There we go.
Tire Killer. We're back, baby.
That's what I'm talking about.
We will send you some detention.
Definitely detention.
We will
Oh
send
my
this to
gosh,
you.
we're gonna have to. I mean, we're 18 minutes in. This cat's like, are we getting unloaded
like,
or not?
You know, we're 18 minutes behind.
We're fine.
That is the trucking industry
Yeah.
we live in, man, and it's okay.
Nothing's normal.
Nothing is not. Yeah, nothing's ever normal.
I love it. I'm so excited. We're in the screen. We're
in the
right
screen.
here. This is the beautiful face of eCarrier Check. For those of you watching, usually we have, obviously all of our usual sports concept behind us, but today we're actually in the screen because we wanted to try something new, and I'm excited about that.
Awesome.
A couple things I want to talk about the week because here were some interesting things that happened this week that I think if you are trying to, if you're trying to get a new client, if you're trying to be different than everybody else, I got a truck. Oh, there we go. So now they're rolling in. Tire Killer, what's up, brother? I got a thing on Arkansas you'll have to look into. We'll talk about that after a little bit. But I had the opportunity. We did several cold calls. We didn't do a ton, but I think we did like less than 20. I sent less than 20 emails. We call them hooks.
Yeah.
I'm a fishing guy. I don't know what to tell you. And I thought what was interesting about both of those is we were wildly direct. Mm-hmm. I'm talking extremely direct. And this is what makes eCarrier Check a little bit unique. Sometimes you don't recognize a unicorn if you're not looking for it, right? And in some particular cases, if you look at the leads on our site, you're like, yeah, it's a lead, it's a lead. You can get on a website, right? But the leads that we have on our site are by equipment. Right. Man, that makes life probably the most interesting thing ever. Let me tell you why it unicorns it. Is when you're direct cold calling or direct emailing, and I'm talking wildly direct, like, hey, all we do is tankers on Interstate 15. Can we talk? Right? And we got an incredible return rate on those calls and emails, right? And we're talking like really simple. In fact, I gotta read you one of the emails just because I thought it was funny. It brought humor, but at the same time, it got a response. And I'm gonna read this to you real quick because I just want you to hear this. So this one says, "Hey, good afternoon," and it says his name. I'm not gonna read it on here just for the sake of it. It's a crane company, right? And they're out of Chicago. They make like replacement parts and things like that. But a lot of the replacement parts are, 20, 30 foot. And so this is what it says. Is, hey, and we found this on eCarrier Check, right? So we know that they're using Hot Shots. We know that they're shipping out of Chicago. And here's what the email says. Hey, we focus on flatbeds out of Chicago area throughout the country. Love Interstate 70, 80, 90. I would like to see if we could set up 13 minutes of chat about your supply chain, right? A couple things that are unique about that is, first off, it says 13 minutes. It's kind of weird. We are really direct with freight going specifically to certain areas, so I'm not limiting ourselves, right? I'm not just saying, well, we want freight to California, right? 70, 80 allow you to go west and a little bit south. 90 allows you to go east, right? And here was the value add that added a little bit of flavor, and this is why they responded. Okay. Let me know if you have time this week or next. I would love to share what we predict will happen to freight rates out of Chicago in the next few months.
That's some weird value.
All of a sudden, this guy's like, well, what's going to happen?
What's going to change? Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what are you expecting to see? Right?
Almost like tell me more.
Yeah. So, we brought value, right? We were wildly direct, and we got an email back.
Yeah.
I freaking love it, man. It was so good. I feel like it's one of those things where we figured out, what is that? It's 3 sentences long, right? We asked for a meeting. There was an action item. There was value prop. Oh, you're moving the screen. I love this. I can't get enough of this. And then we gave him direct points to go to. Right. So I thought that was interesting. We got an email right back.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not kidding. We sent that email. God, probably 3:00 yesterday, and by 3:30 we had the response back saying, "I'm busy this week. Hit me up next week."
Right. Boy, you just sound different doing it that way too, and that's what I like about eCarrier is you have that ability to be different on here and to sound different when you're sending emails or making phone calls. You know, the value that you added there, yeah, maybe you didn't get that from eCarrier, but you got that from experience, and you understand that. You know, what did you say here? You know, the rates coming out of Chicago in the next few months, you understand that rates are obviously changing out of areas because of your experience in this industry. You pick up on that stuff.
Yeah.
And that's the value that you're bringing to that shipper, that they're not paying attention to a whole lot of rates around the country. And, you know, that's what's super nice with obviously your background and using eCarrier to find those specific shippers that make sense. And let's see what you're pulling up. You're pulling up some shippers here.
Yeah, I just want to show you this because I think this is interesting. You know, we show you kind of where they're shipping to, right?
Mm-hmm.
So not only are we going to be like, hey, this guy's doing reefers and vans. He's out of California. He has a location in California. Has a location in Texas. We give you the idea of where that's at. But how many times have you read something and you had to read it a couple times to understand it, right?
Many times, yeah.
And sometimes that's how eCarrier perceive is like, well, I got to read this a couple times just to understand it, right? But when you really fully are able to digest the value that we show you with, hey, this is a shipper, this is the type of equipment they're using, here are some of the lanes that we see.
Right. And here's I think the coolest thing is you can see how much enriched data we have on some of these shippers, right? Not many people, or let's say shippers, not many of them are putting their emails on there because they're getting handled with emails, or they're sending you to a number that Rick rolls you, or they're sending an email, or they're sending you to an email that they don't even freaking look at.
Right.
We get that happens, but at least if we can get you the right email format, or maybe just an email into the company, you'll get to what you're looking for.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, so I'm gonna peek into one of these guys and just, we can look at some of the stuff here. We got. Here's some key contacts, right? LinkedIn, which I love. Contact info. There's some email formats, and there's some other ones there. Locations, love it. Overview. So there's some really good concrete data here, or info. It's just how do I put that stuff together to just sound different?
To make this.
Yes.
To make this.
I want to make a good first impression. I'm trying to talk to this girl at the bar. How do I sound different than all these other guys? Let me buy you a drink, right?
I love that. Let me buy you a drink is like saying I got a truck in your area. That's the equivalent of the trucking industry.
Right.
Let me buy you a drink. I got a truck in your area.
Yeah,
it's the same thing.
It is.
It's the same thing. You got to sound different.
Hey, I like the shoes you're wearing tonight, or I like the shirt. I like your hair, right? But we gotta stand out. We gotta be different. Google helps only so much, in my opinion. You're not gonna get their emails from looking at Google. You're gonna have to dive into more info and go to other services. There's other like email things you can grab their emails, but half the time you gotta sign up for that. Then you're getting a bunch of spam emails. You don't get spam email from eCarrier. If you do, it's probably me, and you can just tell me to F off. But
it's my bad. We just
that's
do
just
it.
what we do.
We just do it. Yeah, it's fine.
So,
the other approach that I got to tell you about, I thought this was really interesting too. Another email tactic that worked wildly well. Okay, and this is further down the line.
Okay.
And to be honest with you, I kind of was like, the idea behind it was, for me, was like, I don't know if that's gonna work.
Right.
But it did, and this is what I loved. Okay, so we have the question all the time. Okay, I've already talked to this guy. I've emailed to this guy or gal. I'm on call or email 5 or 6.
Right.
This week I had the opportunity to watch an incredibly brilliant broker. He's just kind of went from a junior broker to a senior broker.
Okay.
Good cat. Like this guy. And it's his birthday tomorrow too, by the way.
Nice.
But what I thought was interesting is that he was wildly assertive with one of his emails. And he actually said, hey, I just freed up some time this week. Would you have time to chat about getting us set up? I have 10 minutes this Thursday and Friday. So it almost made him sound like, God, he's limited in my time. That it almost changes the way you think like a psychological
Yeah.
aspect. Like, hey, this guy actually is taking time to talk to me.
Right.
I should be excited about talking to him.
You know that's funny. I love this because what kids are saying nowadays. He doesn't sound too thirsty, right? That's what they're saying nowadays. I don't want to sound thirsty. This broker didn't sound thirsty. He's like, I got some free time, and I want to know if you have some availability.
Yeah.
I freed up 10 minutes this week. I want to make that 10 minutes with you.
I'm not kidding. We were working together. He pushed send.
You're like, oh, well,
It
let's
was
see where it goes.
It was 140 seconds later. He had another email. I think we went and
Mm.
got a cup of coffee, and it worked.
Right.
And I was like, good for you, you know. And it just took him a little bit off the same. He was running down the same road.
Mhm.
He just decided to take the shoulder to get
Right.
off instead of freaking going. And I loved every second of it.
Yeah.
It wasn't. I didn't have the idea. He just went with it. This is why he's a senior broker. I
Right.
loved every second of it. And he got a response,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, he wasn't afraid to be different. I know you've been mentoring this guy for a while, so I know this isn't probably an email that you probably helped him, write up. But I love that he was willing to try something different,
Yeah.
even though it didn't come from you.
Yeah. It was
And,
wonderful.
I don't know if he was just trying to be himself or just trying a different strategy, but I love that he's just not afraid to switch it up.
Yeah, I agree.
That's huge.
I loved it. I loved it.
My goal today here, Jared, is to help carriers and brokers kind of just kick in the door. And so far, we've had a lot of value on helping people just kind of kick in the door, get your foot in the door of these shippers. It's not going to happen the first call or email, like what that broker is doing. He's trying to get 10 minutes. But this is where it starts. You're building your pipeline. You're figuring out what they move. You're being really specific about what they're moving, not just, hey, I want to know how you move your freight. It's not it. You want to get specific. You want to talk their world, their wording. You want to get to their level. So this is where you start. You build your pipeline. You're throwing in the company, maybe some contact info, what they move, obviously what kind of equipment they're going to be using. Got to be ready to talk. So I think this is your first step of trying to knock down the door. And then really where the grind is at, and the hardest part is, how do I show them I have value?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the other side of it is, the funniest thing, my son has a book that he bought on how to do the perfect push-up. And I've talked about this before. And I'm like, you can read that book all you want, but until you take action and go try it, not going to do you any good, right? So we've got you to the water. We're giving you these value ideas, these thoughts. Now we've got to put what we're saying into action. And you build your pipeline, and then you've got to start making calls. And you've got to really 20-mile march it, And what I mean by that is just every day you just do something. We had the opportunity to talk to Dan Deegan the other day. If you haven't checked him out, he's truly a gift to the logistics industry.
Yeah.
But I recommend, staying as consistent as possible and just doing little things each day and celebrating those small wins.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the small wins could be little things. It could be that you got the right contact. Right. It could be you got the email. Maybe eCarrier Check didn't have the email. We don't have all the emails, right? Maybe it was actually, hey, I actually got past the gatekeeper, and it was a win today. I was able to leave a voicemail. Well, how was the voicemail? Right? Did you practice the voicemail, or did you just wing it? Nothing wrong with either, but making sure you're hitting critical points in less than 20 seconds is really, really critical, right? Hey, this is Jared over at eCarrier Check. We run 70, 80, and 90, doing mainly partial flatbeds. Would love 20 minutes this week to see if we could talk about, what we're seeing for rates out of Chicago and see if there's a good fit between our companies. Give me a call back, 308, et cetera, right? And that sounds nice. But if you fumble over your words, whew, what a mess. T. Harris, what's up, brother? Hope you were okay, man.
Yeah.
Sorry I'm late. You're totally fine. Hope you're okay. We're trying something new today. We're sitting in eCarrier Check. We're in the website.
We are in it.
Which I'm excited for. I feel like we should have like a back-end game of like Mario Kart or something.
Right.
We're gonna stream on our PlayStation channel after this. I'm just saying.
What I would like to do here, because Nick Klingensmith, he's putting on an amazing training tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern. If you haven't seen or heard of it, make sure you go on LinkedIn and register. If you don't have LinkedIn, shoot me an email. I'd love to send you a link over to register. But it's really just to help you prioritize your goals and just kind of really find your purpose. And you know, Nick has been through so much, and he's a very very successful salesman. And I think that everyone needs to kind of hear his story and just kind of hear him out, because he has a lot of value to bring to everyone that's in sales, and maybe not even in sales, maybe just life.
Just
in
life,
general.
yeah.
So make sure you go to LinkedIn, look up Nick Klingensmith, Stride Motivation, and register for his event tonight. I was gonna try to pull it up to give you guys an idea here.
This is free, by the way.
It's super.
This
free.
is totally free. This is how he provides value to people, which I love. But here's how you spell his last name, is because I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, and while you're doing that, I'm gonna see if I can pull it up here.
Klingen Smith. You know, we're always trying to give people as much value as possible, and this is something that we recommend you do. We'll be on it just to see what's going on. So it should be a fun event, and definitely one of those things where you know what's interesting? I'm not necessarily. I gotta tell you something. I'm not Jewish, okay? But sometimes I think the Jewish calendar kind of hits a little bit different than the normal calendar. I'm going to give you why. Because they just celebrated their new year, right? End of October. We're changing seasons. We just went from summer. We went to fall. People love summer, fall. You got your pumpkin spices. The colors are changing, right? Everything seems like, okay, it's kind of the end of the year. And in some particular cases, I would rather set my goals right now, because it feels like at the end of the year, who loves friggin' winter here? It's dark after I go to work in the dark. I come home in the dark. Yeah. I don't want to set friggin' goals in January when it's cold and miserable out. Right? I want to set them right now. Right? And what's unique about this opportunity tonight is, you know, if you're 9 months into this year and you haven't actually got to your goals, right? You haven't actually pushed your goals ahead that you started at the beginning of this year. It's not too late to start today. Right? And this is what I love about what he talks about in his class is just aligning your goals, your priorities, your purpose. You don't have to wait till the first of the year to go to the gym. You can start today. You don't have to wait till the end of this year. This is why I love the Jewish calendar. I think it's probably more appropriate. I don't want to set goals in the winter. No. This is just my 2 cents on the Jewish calendar.
Well, and I feel like if I'm setting my goals in January, whether it's business or personal, I'm like, shoot, now I'm just starting my new year like kind of a little behind. I'm like, I should have, like, I just feel like going to the new year having this stuff ready to go, ready to work on. But like you hit it on the head, you don't need to wait for January to come to do this. You know, start today. And this is why I love that Nick's doing this, because like there's so much you'll get from this class, just to kind of help you. Agreed. You know, one thing that kind of pops out to me, you know, looking at what you'll take away is just, you know, learning how to schedule non-negotiable time for prospecting, growth, and personal tasks, like, and just honestly just prioritizing your time. You know, we are so easy about pushing stuff till tomorrow because we're just tired mentally, physically, whatever it is. So I think this is huge. You know, he'll bring you some life, some energy. So make sure, like I said, go register for his class. I can send you this link. Just let me know if you guys need it. It's completely free. 2 hours, you know, an hour and a half of your time tonight. You're gonna get some free value.
Yeah, worth your time.
You don't get that a lot of places.
Absolutely. Yeah, completely worth your time.
If you guys want more,
I heard this guy. This is kind of entertaining. This guy was talking about our environment in America today, and he's like, have you ever wondered why chickens don't fly? You know, maybe before we knew what a chicken was, did they fly more than what they were? Right? And it was kind of an interesting aspect because he said, you know, or have chickens just become, you know, a food source, and they become comfortable. They no longer, they've just become a product of their environment. And that environment is, they're protected, right? They're not hunted anymore. When was the last time you saw chickens hunted, right?
That's fair.
Right? And they are fed. So they have nothing to go for. They're just a product of their environment that gets out there. And I think it's really important that you don't become a product of the environment in this specific industry. You know, in the logistics industry, you can just run friggin' ragged.
Oh yeah.
Right? And you've got to be really intentional with your time, with your prospecting, with the way you source things. It's wildly important.
I mean, sometimes you feel like you're running around like a chicken with its head cut off, right?
Exactly.
But it's what it feels like some days. So
Yeah.
I love what eCarrier has to offer. We're more than
Yeah.
just vetting carriers, sourcing carriers. All we believe that all that's important, but we also believe that you need to diversify your companies. Whether you're a carrier trying to find direct relationships, or maybe a carrier trying to find more broker relationships, we have it here for you. Really, what's kind of in between everything is just your phone.
Yep.
And just picking up and having a conversation. So,
Yeah.
we're a month-to-month service here, which is huge. You find that one relationship that lasts years. This thing's paid for, right?
Yeah,
So it's like the possibilities are endless if you're willing to actually put some effort in.
Yeah, I like it. Nate, I'm a big fan of how this worked out. I love the screen. I love the way we're able to show the site. Hit us up. Let us know if we can do any one-on-ones with you. Please take the time if you haven't. If you like our content, give us a review. Go to eCarrier Check, give us a review. This is how we grow, and we love an opportunity to help you in your personal journey, your professional journey, any which way we can.
Make sure to hit the bell too. That way you know when we go live. Sometimes we have technical problems like we did today, but we're trying to get better here, just like everyone else. And we can't thank you guys enough for being here. We will see you on Friday. We will have Samantha Jones with
Love
her
that.
Friday tip, which
Always
I love.
good content.
Bringing value again.